All right, are we up and running? Let's find out. Hold on here real quick. I did absolutely nothing to set up any kind of social media or anything, so I guess I'm just gonna fly blind into this and post it after the fact. But it looks like we are live, so I can at least post on my own channel that I'm up. Martial Powers, let's go. That, and oh, I guess I'll just tap down through some shit. So hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been running games in D&D since 1987, and I've been creating content for DMsGuild since 2017. Back when the Ravnica campaign setting had first come out, it was the first D&D MTG official crossover, and I think there was a lot of excitement about potentially seeing what's the word I'm trying to say? Color mana and looking at the color mana system that Wizards had created with Magic the Gathering, and creating an expression of that for Dungeons and Dragons, you know, casting spells and stuff using color mana. But instead, they took the Magic the Gathering campaign and converted it to the D&D campaign setting, which was the 8 schools of magic and spell slots. So now the characters in the Magic the Gathering settings don't use color magic. Instead, they just use the 8 schools and spell slots. So that got me started on creating content. Where I built a replacement, a different magic paradigm, we call them. Instead of the 8 schools, we have the 5 colors. And instead of the spell slots that you would have, we created an alternate spell point system that could be converted into a color magic system, or it could just be a universal magic thing, as you please. So that was in 2017, and I've been adding books to it ever since, and I'm just thrilled with the results that we've had so far with it. And so now my current project that we're looking at here, that we're going to be working on today, is the Martial Powers project. That is a basically spellcasters have mana and cast spells, right? But on Magic the Gathering cards, all creatures, anything could have like a use of mana. Like what are they doing with them? What even just a soldier could like spend 2 white mana to like get first strike and lifelink, for instance. So they're, even though they're not a spellcaster at all, they have a means of being able to burn mana to produce results. And so that's what the Martial Powers system is that we've been developing. So let me just take a hot second here, be done with my intro, get my screens set up correctly here. And I'm on the X Twitter platform. If you want to follow me on X Twitter, I am at Phil Kearney. And here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications. Thanks a lot to new subscribers this week. I'm thrilled that the stuff that I'm talking about is of interest to you. And I would love to, anyone that's interested, participate in the playtesting that we have going on right now. Just follow the link to my Discord channel. Here's a bunch of the links to stuff. The full playlist of us developing the Martial Power system over the past year, right here. Here is the actual Martial Power playtest content, which we'll be looking at in a second. My Discord community, you can access through my Patreon, as well as if you wanted to subscribe to Patreon. Thanks for your support. So, Martial Powers, let's see. Let's open this up. Bump, 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 bump. So, right now we're converting Strixhaven. Strixhaven offers a number of feats, a number of spells as part of the Strixhaven background. So the Martial Power system doesn't use spells. It offers a half casting progression for martial characters to spend mana to create effects. Exploits modify die rolls and movement, and like action economy. Like if you take the dash action, you can gain like disengage and dodge for free if you're willing to spend a point of mana, stuff like that. There's maneuvers like battle master, like spend a point of mana, and as a bonus action, you can grant a number of allies equal to the mana you spend the ability to make a opportunity attack against a target that you can both see, for instance. Like reactions, like whenever a character that's willing moves outside of your reach, you can switch places with them and then give them a boost to their armor class. Strikes are like paladin smites. On hit effects, I hit you, I spend mana, I deal extra damage. With 2024, we see the change to the paladin smite spell. You could use that if you wanted to, but instead you could use the 20 some odd different strike powers that we created that have different effects that, again, you can use at will. But if a paladin wanted to use their bonus action, they do an extra die of damage and can trigger 2 effects at the same time. No one else can really do that other than the battle master, so good on them. And then there's sustained powers, which are like non-concentration effects that are persistent until you're incapacitated or dismiss the action. You click the mana, you turn them on, and they stay on for the rest of the day, basically. And you can stack a number of sustained powers. Like at 17th level, you'd have you'd be up as like a half caster. You'd be like the 5th level spells, right? So you'd be a half caster. You could have up to 5 ranks of power. So you could have 5 sustained powers of first rank active at the same time, or 1 second and 1 third, or like a 4th and a 1st. At 17th level, you can have a total of 5 active at the same time. So, and you don't have to concentrate on them. So it's because you're taking hits all the time. You can't be bothering with concentration over and over again. But they're also incredibly limited, narrow usage, specific usage, very, very specific, so that you can't get too much leverage out of them. But what they do well. So, and they're all prepared on a daily basis. So you could wake up and then completely change all the kit of powers that your character has. Your fighter can switch from support to sniper to tank to debuffer on a day-to-day basis. And then on top of that, other than spending mana to perform things, like for example, there's 32 different feats that you can take. And once we get our mitts on the 2024 book, we'll be revising what this list of feats is. Half feats, they don't grant you stat bonuses, but they do give you all the benefits that they offer. And you can swap those out on a daily basis as well, because you prepare these feats. And there's also combat masteries, which are like weapon masteries are bound to the weapon. And with this system, if you're proficient with the weapon, you can and you have the martial power, and you have the martial channeling class feature. You can, if you're proficient in the weapon, you can automatically use the mastery without having to prepare it. But you could also prepare masteries and use them on any weapon, not just the weapon they're built into. Like a Great Maul can push people when you hit them. You can punch them over that way. But if you, as a martial character, learn how to, or prepare the ability to push people, anytime you hit somebody with an attack, whether it's ranged or physical, and you hit them with a weapon attack, unarmed attack, or natural weapon, you can push them. So if I hit you with a dagger, I could also make you push 10 feet. I could punch you Bruce Lee style with a single punch. I could knock you back 10 feet, for example. And I could just do that as my weapon mastery. Or if I'm like using, like say, a short sword that has, I think it has the Vex property, right? So I could use Vex, or I could use Push when I hit you. I'd have those options. Vex is part of the weapon. Push is something that I have prepared or specifically trained on for today. So I can do that. And then there's also damage types. Where at first level, you could, instead of dealing damage, you can magically deal acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison damage. And by 5th level, you have advanced options of dealing force, necrotic, psychic, radiant, and thunder damage. This also allows the DM to have a real dynamic, like a real diversity in types of resistances that creatures have. So you can have immunity where they don't take any damage. You can have vulnerability. You can have immunity where they take no damage. Resistance where they take half damage. Then there's nothing, which is just normal damage. And then there's vulnerability, where they take double damage, and lethality, where if you hit them, they die. So if a creature has a lethal weakness to a damage type, they effectively become minions, where all you have to do is hit them once and they can die. So characters could have access, like things that are really difficult from 1st to 4th level might have lethal vulnerability to, like, say, radiant damage. And your character might not have normal access to radiant damage until they decide to prepare that as the default damage that they do. Now, when you're fighting these undead that are lethally, that have lethal vulnerability to radiant damage, they now become minions that you can kill in one hit. So you can manipulate, you have that scale from immune to minion, and half steps in between of vulnerable and resistant, and then just normal. So there's 5 degrees of vulnerability with damage types, and each and some of the powers allow you to swap what your immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and lethalities are. So a DM has the ability to change. Intelligent creatures can change their resistances from day to day to meet the foes that they're facing, like your team. So they survive the first fight, they retreat, they know you're carrying fire damage, now he's immune to fire. Maybe your team will anticipate that and diversify the damage that you're dealing so that you can see what damage is going to be effective to different creatures, and then prepare with different characters having 1 or 2 types of damage available to them. Piercing, bludgeoning, slashing, force, psychic, radiant, necrotic. There's 13 damage types total. 3 basic, 5 elemental, and then 5 advanced. So anyway, so those are the ideas there. So you can adapt your character. And because the Strixhaven backgrounds ground spellcasters bonus spells that they gain when they gain access to higher spell levels, so too for the martial power system, we want to grant characters new powers as they gain levels. So since that's what Strixhaven offers, and if we do this with Strixhaven specifically, the Strixhaven Academy of Magic is no longer about spellcasting. It's about learning how to control the mana inside of you. Since once this product drops in with the bundle of other books that we've created, all 13 classes will have the same mana system, whether you're using just universal magic with just like undefined universal spell points that you can spend on anything, or you're using color magic where like your Witherbloom character is only going to use black and green magic, so everything that they do is expressed through black, green, or both colors. Or if you use an elemental system like air, earth, fire, and water, and like you're doing like an airbender type of campaign where maybe a character has access to 1, 2, or even all 4 elements, and you can then divide up your spells and your powers between those different elements. So that's the idea. So we want to swap out the spells that the different schools get, that the different colleges give, so that when you're playing like a Silver Quill Paladin, you'll know you can choose. Here's the spells that you could choose for spell casting, or you could choose these spells instead. Because Rangers and Paladins can switch between the two of them. So up to you. Let's see. So let's get down, almost there. Scrolling down, and again, this document's readily available for you. You guys can see anyone that wants to tag. It'll be a read-only document for you, but it's on my Patreon here. You don't have to be a member of the Patreon to access it, but if you want to support me with $1 while you're there, God bless you and thank you. And anyone that is a participant in the playtest and the games that I'm running is going to get a free copy of this once it publishes as a thank you, and you'll get credits in the book. So, Magic Paradigms, finally got to them. And now let's go to the Ravnica backgrounds, which we already completed. And now let's go down into the Arcavios Strixhaven backgrounds. Okay, great. So that's where we're at. So we're doing Lorehold, and now we're on Prismari. Let's go up to Prismari. We finished the Lorehold, and now we're going to start working on Prismari. What's the skill proficiencies that Prismari gets? Quandrix, Prismari. Give me a second here. Acrobatics and performance, that makes sense. So we're just going to fill in these details. And then tools. instrument or artisan tools and languages. One of your choice. Okay, so we're looking at, so you keep cantrips because cantrips don't require mana. Cantrips don't actually require spell casting, if I recall correctly. Let's make sure that's true. Actually, let's go to here. Let's go to game rules. Let's go to Ye Old Wizard. Let's look at how this works. Spellcasting, arcane recovery, cantrips known, spell slots per level. Spellcasting, cantrips is a subsection of spellcasting. So, first level, you know 3 cantrips, your choice. From wizard, you learn additional cantrips at higher levels. So cantrips, spellbook, recurring casting spells. Okay, so cantrips are technically spellcasting. Interesting. I might want to break that out. But the background is basically you get a free spell. Choose 2, you get Firebolt and Prestidigitation from Prismari, and or you could get Ray of Frost, and you get to choose a spell of your choice that you get to. You basically get 1 point of mana to be able to spend, and then you can spend more mana on that as well. So as your character gains levels, the spell that you choose out of Strixhaven, you can cast that spell repeatedly if you wanted to. So up here, like a 7th level ranger, for instance, would have access to 2nd level spells, 2nd rank powers, and would have 14 mana. So if you were to be a Prismari ranger, you would get those 2 cantrips, and you would get a bonus spell. What list is it coming from? Hold on. That's actually a good thing for us to check in on. Choose 2, Thaumaturgy. Minute timer, keep it going. Choose 1 first level spell. Let's see. That's your list. Spellcasting. Let's see. You gain Strixhaven Initiate feat later in the chapter. I need to go look at that again real quick to see what it says. Bloop. That's right. Prismari, choose 2 from here. Choose 1, Bard or Sorcerer. From Bard or Sorcerer spell list, and gain 1 additional point of mana per long rest. There you go. Initiate. Choose 1 first level spell from the Cleric or Wizard spell list. Cleric or Wizard spell list. Initiate. Cantrips. Here we have Strixhaven. Choose 1 spell from, what is this, Quandrix? From the Cleric or Wizard spell list. Neat. And Quandrix. And Witherbloom. Did we get Silverquill? And Silverquill. Quandrix is Druid or Wizard. Druid or Cleric spell list. Silverquill is Bard or Cleric. Or Cleric spell list. And Witherbloom is Druid or Wizard. That's boring. Good enough. Don't stretch it out. Let's take a sip of coffee. Okay, cool. We got those fleshed out, and now we can drop this page. Get back into Prismari. Okay, cool. So let's start taking a look at some of the different powers and what might be appropriate for Prismari. Scroll down here into the actual list of powers. What we got going for Prismari so far? We've got a bunch of exploits, and reactions, a sustain power. Cool. Okay, great. Let's keep at it. Bait and switch. We just changed that, so let's go look at. Bait and switch is now a reaction, right? Yeah, bait and switch, first level reaction. And evasive footwork, is that still? I believe that's still an exploit. Double check. Tool, overrun, cooperative change, breath of life, abundant step. Where did you go? Reactions. Anticipate, bait and switch, control fall, feint, downtrodden, interpose, reposition, countering attack, moving target, redirect, roll the hit, saving grace. Replace that with abundant step. Yeah, good. Switch, reaction 1, abundant step. All right, so what does abundant step do? Abundant step is you can channel this exploit as part of a move action. You gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your turn. If you do not end your turn on a surface or liquid that can support you without squeezing, you fall as normal. I do not need to have that language. That can support you, comma, You fall as normal. And then if you want to spend extra mana, so it costs 1 mana to do that per round. And if you want to spend extra mana, 1 point extra will double your speed, 3 points extra will triple your speed, and 5 point extra will quadruple your speed. And that sounds like once per round being able to get a fly speed is kind of cool, but what makes it super cool is one of the feats that we have in here is called efficient power. And the way that efficient power works is choose 1 power from the discipline list when you select this feat. So like Abundant Step, for example. When you channel the chosen power, or basically like when you use it, you gain 1 temporary mana to do so. So basically, by learning the power twice, you learn the power and then you learn efficient power. You basically learn that power twice, reducing the amount of things that you can do. But to do so, you can now generate mana for free when you use it. So you had to learn it twice, but now you can use it forever. So we had to restructure a lot of the exploits, maneuvers, reactions to be able to accommodate the fact that you can reduce the cost effectively. Like, you don't have to use your mana pool to use these things. It basically becomes a cantrip for you. But you had to learn it twice for it to become a cantrip. Similarly, like a 3rd rank power, you can use efficient power, and even though it's a 3rd rank power, you only have to spend 2 mana on it when you do. So it becomes efficient for you. So you can get more, you can effectively downcast your spells by learning them more than once. And you can't downcast, you can't make them more efficient more than once. You can take multiple powers and make them efficient, but you can only use efficiency once. Because we don't want to drive down the cost of a 5th rank power to be 0 mana. Like, that's just, that would be, even compared to Rogue, even compared to full casters, that could arguably be broken, because you could basically infinitely spam 5th level spells, and that's broken. Everyone would admit that. So, but that's a good power. Abundant power is a good one. Abundant Step's a good one. Bait and Switch is also a good one. Let's go look at that one real quick. It's a reaction. Bait and Switch. As a reaction to a creature moving within 5 feet of you, you can spend 1 mana to switch places with the creature if it's willing. Switching places this way doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. And in addition, roll 1 power die per mana spent this way. Until the start of your next turn, you or the target creature gain a bonus AC equal to the highest power die roll. So if I only have to spend 1 mana, whether it's generated for me or I spend it out of my own pool. I spend 1 point of mana as a reaction when a creature is, and it's considered an opportunity attack. So if I have multiple opportunity attacks available, which I could using the system, then I could potentially grant armor class bonuses to all of my allies every time I use a reaction and they are within 5 feet of me. Or I could give myself the armor class bonus. You're basically like shuffling each other around, and that's giving you an armor class bonus. That's the narrative of that. But I could spend 3 mana, and I could roll 3 dice, and the die that we roll is based on your level. It's kind of like a power. The power die is like a superiority die, martial arts die, inspiration die. It starts with a D6 at first, becomes a D8 at 9th, and ends at a D10 at 17th, though some subclasses can get up to a D12, and the monk can get up to a D12, so the monk in the system already has a numerical advantage over everybody else, but still has access to the same list of powers. So the monk becomes really, really, really good. I love that. I love about Saving Grace. I can reroll any D20. It costs me 2 mana to do so as a reaction. Windstrider, that was Abundant Step. So now we get to replace that with Roll with the Hit. Roll with the Hit is whenever I take damage, I can spend 2 mana to gain resistance to damage. Let's see. Oh, Celerity. Celerity is haste without the hangover, which I can only trigger on myself. First Strike is an exploit. When you roll initiative to start combat, you make an attack roll against a target that's within reach. The attack roll becomes your initiative result, and if you hit the target, you deal damage. If you also beat them, that first strike, it's not an action. It's just part. It's like a non-action attack. You can channel strikes through it, and if you want initiative, you can just continue just pouring in the rest of your action economy in afterwards. So this is good stuff. But hey, great. So we're caught up on what Prismari is. Let's see what other cool things are laying around that Prismari people might want to be. Unstoppable doesn't sound like a bad idea. Quandrix picks it up already. First strike is so... Oh, Hypergenistic is pretty good. Hypergenistic is as an exploit, when you make an opportunity attack, you can make a second attack against the same creature. And it'll cost you 3 mana to do it, but when you make an opportunity attack, you can hit him twice. Keeping in mind, opportunity attacks can channel strikes or battle masteries. Resilient save. When you make a saving throw to reduce damage, if the save succeeds, you take no damage, or half if you fail. You decide to use you decide to channel this power after you roll the save, but before you know the results. There. If you like the die roll, you can just let it hang, figuring that you'll succeed, and take half damage from the effect. You roll, it looks like garbage. You can spend the 3 points of mana as a reaction, and now you can turn this thing on, and you'll take half damage if you think you're going to fail, or for some reason you succeed. You'll take no damage, so congratulations. Or it's like, I don't want to take any damage. I rolled really well. I'm going to dump on the point so I can become immune to that damage. Both totally viable. So that is resilient save. Resilient save is not bad, but it doesn't feel specifically. It doesn't specifically feel like Prismari, so let's skip that. Let's go to our high-end maneuvers and see what some cool stuff can be. Terror is not very... Ooh, Flicker Pounce, that's a good one. And that is a maneuver 3, right? Yeah. You can teleport up to 30 feet away within a space of a creature that you can see and make a weapon attack against it. If the attack succeeds, you can choose to teleport back to your original position. If the attack fails, you don't teleport the second time. Ooh, Beguiling Trance is good for Silverquill. What is that? Maneuver 3. Curse of Enfeeblement. Ooh, Witherbloom. Curse of Enfeeblement. That's maneuver 3. I think I'm supposed to change that name. Maybe we'll get to it. Let's see. Regeneration. That's a very Witherbloom sort of thing to do. And what is that? Regenerate is a second rank. Yeah. That is maneuver 2. Right. Let's see. Allied Assault. You and allies gain advantage while attacking a chosen creature you can see until the beginning of your next turn. I like that. I like the idea of Allied Assault for Prismari. take celerity at 4th. And the flicker pounce. I'm liking this. This is making a lot of sense. Bait and switch, abundant steps, saving grace, roll with the hit, allied assault, first strike, celerity, flicker pounce. These are all flashbang, quick movements, disruptors, reactions and movement stuff. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Charge isn't a bad one. Let's keep finding stuff. We need 2 more high-end things for Prismari. These are all flashbang, quick movements. I mean, Unstoppable is really good. Hyperchinistic. Effort, charge. Charge isn't bad. Flicker pounce, celerity. Let's do this. Let's go first strike here. We'll go celerity here. Timely timer. Exploit 1. There. Charge and allied assault. Charge is you get to you use it while using the dash action. If you move at least 10 feet, when you end your movement, the next attack that you make before the start of your before your next turn is rolled with advantage, and you can roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, adding the highest result to your attack roll. And then allied assault basically lets you have a whole bunch of people attack. Using their reactions, and then saving grace and roll with the hit, mitigate damage. First strike move is the attack before as initiative, and then flicker pounce is the teleportation thing. Unstoppable means that during your turn, you if you're not supposed to be able to move, you can continue to move. And celerity is like teleport, or is haste. There, that's a good set of Prismari. I like that. Granted, all these things. Okay, so there's no rule in the because there's only 115 powers that require mana. There's no specific rule that says like when you gain access to first rank powers, you only have first rank. When you get in second rank, it has to be second rank. Third is third. Fourth is fourth. There isn't even any fifth rank powers. It only goes from 1 to 4. So we ignore. You can't get a power earlier than a level, but mostly we just look at what's the theme of the item that you're getting. Like, what's an appropriate level for you to get this thing? How does that complement, like, the School of Prismari? All of these things become more and more grand, leaning into the movement and fluidity and action economy that Prismari is gaining from these powers. This progression of powers leans into that. Lorehold is about being able to connect with and have information between the past and your present, or creatures in your environment. There we go. So all the things that's going through here helps you communicate, explore spaces. Instant skills, swift tools, and trap spring are all high utility ability check and saving throw powers. Cooperative effort has allies helping, like your help action goes further. Azim strike reveals illusions around you. Auto attunement means you can pick up an item and begin to immediately start using it. Tremor sense is, well, you can sense people through movement in the ground. Hexproof means you can basically become immune to a magical effect that you're targeted with. And then telekinetic bubble creates an indestructible bubble that you can put around yourself or somebody else. So those are really good lore hold abilities for protecting spelunkers. And Quandrix is all about breaking down and manipulating math. So that's what we're going to get after here with Quandrix. How far into this are we? 40 minutes? Okay. So we have Quandrix, Silverquill, and Witherbloom to complete. Witherbloom's coming along. Let's see if we can actually finish Witherbloom first. I don't know why, but Witherbloom's guiding me in that direction. Breath of Life, spend a point of mana, you automatically stabilize somebody, and while you are stabilizing them, they gain a power die of hit points back. Let's see, Swift Tools. What's good low-level maneuver stuff? Coordinate, attack, and dash, distract, flatten. Goad, rally. Maneuver 1. So this is what Rally does. You and one ally you can see gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the total of 1 power die rolled for each point of mana spent. There's very little in this game that heals. Like that Breath of Life, it heals like up to 10 hit points, but only if you're dying. And once you're alive, you can't use that power to heal them anymore because they're stabilized. So there's virtually nothing in here that heals you, but there's all sorts of things that give you stacking, that give you temporary hit points that are easily refreshed. So it's kind of like healing. It's you know what temporary hit points are. There you go. But yeah, Rally's a good one. And then we already have Curse of the Fallen Puppet, Witherbloom. Basically, when something dies, you animate it until the end of the turn, and it can attack something. We have Regeneration, which stacks up nicely with Rally and Breath of Life. Regeneration, I think, allows you to spend hit dice. That's a maneuver. Let's go look at that. When you channel this maneuver, you can spend a number of hit dice up to your max rank to regain a number of hit points equal to the amount rolled. So basically, it's 2 points, and it basically lets you heal like you're taking a short rest. If you want to spend an extra point of mana in addition to healing, you can spend 1 mana. Let's see, kicker 1. You can. That wording was weird. You can spend 1 mana to end 1 disease or one of the following conditions. So you spend 2 points to activate the thing, and then you could spend another point to end blindness, deafness, and poisoned on top of healing. And again, if you want to make this less expensive, you can drop that cost from 2 to 1 by making it an efficient power. Kicker 2. You can spend 3 mana to end one of the following effects: Curse, reduction of stats, reduction of hit point maximum, or degree of exhaustion. There you go. And then Kicker, you can spend additional mana to target an additional creature for each point of mana spent this way. Up to your max channel limit. Kicker 1 plus. Kickers are added expenses to triggering the power. You do the thing you would normally do. There you go. So that was good. Curse of the Fallen Puppet is animating a corpse. Regeneration is spend hit dice. Let's see. Does it say when you channel this? Oh, yeah. And then you can spend mana to have other people benefit from it as well. Hey, Rel, how you doing? Let's see. What's some other cool Witherbloom sort of stuff? Curse of Enfeeblement isn't horrible. We already have it. Flicker Pounce, Sleeper Hold, Telekinetic Bubble, Wave of Terror. Wave of Terror is a very Silverquill sort of thing to do. So let's go to Silverquill and go with Wave of Terror is maneuver 4. God, Anticipate's a good one for Prismari. Anticipate is reaction 1. Quandrix is like statistics and probabilities, and restructuring the code of like restitching the weave, like rewriting your code. So I think anticipate is a good one because it's like precognition. You can see it coming. I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Reposition would have been a good one for Prismari as well. Reposition is a first rank power. Yeah. I like that. Like everything about Prismari is like all dance, movement, teleportation, swift reaction. I like adding reposition in as a default power to their school. Like it's like a school of dance. It's super cool. I love it. Let's look at the bonus stuff that Quandrix gets here before I get ahead of myself too much. Quandrix, how you doing today, Rel? It's good to see you. Arcana and Nature. What else you got? What you got? Tool proficiency. One type of artisan's tools. One type of artisan tools. And then languages. What you got? One of your choice. Thanks. One of your choice. There you go. So we've got, looks like we have Prismari stitched up. We have Lorehold stitched up. Quandrix, Strixhaven, Silverquill, and Witherbloom. They're all coming out. Okay, let's stay on Witherbloom because we've been having a lot of luck there. So Curse of Enfeeblement, where are we in the document? We are in reactions right now. We are thinking Witherbloom. Dead stuff. Reborn. Anchor, Curse of Exposure. Fate Spinner. Fate Spinner is very Quandrix. Did we take that already? Yeah, Fate Spinner. Oh, Rite of Revival. That's incredibly Witherbloom. And we have it already. Good for us. Lifelink. That's a good. Where is it? Life Stealing Strike. There we go. Life Stealing Strike, STR1, comma. Sup? Do you like your tea cold or hot? I am a hot tea fan. I am a hot green tea fan, preferably. I also like English tea with shitloads of honey. But that I also like that hot. I will drink cold sweet tea, but it coats my mouth differently than honey sweetened hot tea does. So that's my preference. I like my sugar with coffee and cream. Poisoning Strike. That's not a bad one for Wither. Necrotic Strike is also a really good one for Witherbloom. Oh, that'd be Caustic Strike. God, maybe we should give him a Caustic Strike. That's not bad. Disarming, freezing, goading, grappling, martial, restraining, shocking, sweeping, thundering, tripping, blinding, Asium, delusional, intimidating, poisoning, bursting, paralyzing, provoking. Where is my Sonic Strike? Is force or psychic damage. Goading Strike, Flaming Strike, Distracting Strike, Disarming Strike, Caustic Strike. Interesting. Martial Strike. Yeah, Life Stealing Strike deals necrotic damage. That's the way to be. Caustic Strike has a strong argument for it though as well. Let's do this. Let's push Curse of Enfeeblement to 4th. We'll pull we're going to pull Life Stealing Strike to 1st level. We're going to take Rally and put it... Yeah, we're going to leave Rally where it's at. Comma. We're going to push Breath of Life to 2nd and Regeneration to 3rd. Comma. Curse of the Fallen Puppet. And let's take Curse and put it at 3rd. And we'll put Breath of Life, and then Caustic Strike as Strike 1. We'll put that at 2nd rank. Curse of the Fallen Puppet, Reaction and Maneuver. And we have Curse of Enfeeblement at 3rd, and then Rite of Revival. Cool, this is fleshing out. These are all necrotic, death, undeath, and then life, because Witherbloom is death and life of the green and black magic. So it's all about things dying, decaying, rotting, necrosis, acid melting things down, poison dissolving things, and then healing them, bringing them back to life, bolstering them. So I think we have a good mix of powers here that represent that. And so let's go down into sustain. I suspect we'll find some cool sustain powers that'll make sense. But just a triple check up here at the higher end. Make sure we're not missing anything. Poisoning Strike is a decent one, but I don't think it's as good as Caustic or Life Stealing. Blackout. Banishing. Quandrix could stand to have Banishing Strike, though. That's not crazy. Oh, I love it. Anchor and Flicker Pounce in the same level. That's fun. Fate Spinner and let's go with, yeah, Fate Spinner's first, comma, and then Banishing Strike is STR4. We are almost done with Quandrix too. That's fantastic. This is really clicking together now. Okay, great. We're only looking for 2 things for Witherbloom. Let's see if we can find them. Close quarter combat, crouching stance, dire impact, empowered ability, extended reach, fast, instant skill like Lycanthropy. Lycanthropy is so cool. Power shield, range skirmisher, rogue stance, trap springer, auto attunement, castigation. When you channel this power, choose a creature you can see. New deadly presence. While this power is sustained and you are not restrained, stunned, paralyzed, or incapacitated, any creature you can see that begins its turn or moves within reach of your melee attacks takes 1 power die of damage. When you sustain this power with 4 mana, the damage increases to 2 power dice. Kicker. Giant Growth, not so much. Opportunist, no, not Strange Metabolism. No. Daunting Ghost Walker, that might be appropriate. Hey, what's up? I think there could be more. I feel like we need more. There could be a lot more powers. I don't want to overburden the system initially. I just want to, you could always add in more powers. And I kind of like the idea of the powers being limited right now, because I'm sure any DM or player that gets their hands on this book is going to be like, ooh, I could do blank. And that's like one of a billion things I didn't put into the book. But as time goes on, I could like make the book, I can make like Dimir powers, where all of the powers that you could have are like Dimir themed, blue, black magic, all dealing with illusion, memory, personality, suggestion, super stealth espionage stuff like Dimir power. And that could be a book unto itself. And we can make a bunch of Dimir themed subclasses that can fit in there as well. But that won't sell worth a shit on the DM's Guild because it's too specialized. But it would be fun as hell to make it, and I could release that as a thing on my Patreon. So, because eventually, once I get all these mechanical books done, I can leave the DM's Guild and start just building this stuff off of my own platform. Which is ultimately the dream, because I've done like the book of like Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica. It's 10 different subclasses for warlocks. Each otherworldly patron is the guild itself. Like the Azorius warlock becomes an Azorius guild mage as a warlock to the Azorius guild, and it gets messages from the guild in various manners, giving them commands or orders or things to do or plot hooks and stuff like that. But it's too specialized. It's the Ravnica setting. It's for warlocks only, and it's only pertaining to the 10 guilds in Ravnica. That's like 4 degrees of separation from a generic run-of-the-mill campaign that this stuff could be used everywhere. Even though we provided recommendations as to how they could be used in the Forgotten Realms and Eberron respectively, it's obviously framed around Ravnica. So building books like that doesn't have a lot of reach into the D&D audience because there's not enough MTG D&D crossover. It could be a fun way to rally MTG D&D enthusiasts through my Patreon to become a hub for them to be able to access cool stuff like that. But once these books are published on DM's Guild, of course I make them 100% free previews so you can reference these things. So you can bounce between my Patreon, picking up stuff, and then looking at the core rules off of the DM's Guild. Whether you just grab the free version, the preview version, or if you eventually decide to purchase it, either way, you'll have access to that. And that's kind of the way that I want to roll. So I'm happy with that. Frenzy Attack, Indestructible, Master of Fate. Master of Fate's a really good one. I think we already have that for Quandrix. Yeah. So what about some meta power feats? Is there anything that I would want to pick up here? Chef. Just necrotic damage. So I'm running out of cool stuff. Yeah, the high end doesn't have a ton of cool abilities, but if you're playing a lot of high level campaigns and you're burning out on not having options, I'm happy to build more. Let's go with necrotic, damage, advanced, and what else might there be? Come on, baby. Healer, grappler. Healer's not a bad idea. Nah, not healer. I know there's something else in here somewhere. Something tasty. Oh, it was Ghostwalker. But that's Witherbloom. That's not necessarily, Ghostwalker is a little bit more appropriate for Quandrix more than anyone else. What level is that? 3rd. God, Quandrix is just stacked up on high level shit. All right, we'll skip that. Daunting Presence. Strange Metabolism. Daunting Presence isn't a bad idea. Attacking the target you see can see a roll with disadvantage. In addition, while sustaining this power, you can spend 1 mana and target creature. Target a creature as a bonus action. If the target fails a wisdom saving throw, it is frightened of you. That's... yeah, we can go with that. Hey, good. That was the last one. Daunting Presence. Is that a... what is that, a maneuver? Maneuver 3? Yeah. No, sustained power 3. There we go. Cool. And that was Witherbloom. So what's the gains on Witherbloom? To really cap it off. Witherbloom gets nature and survival. That's cool. Nature, survival. What else you got? Get any tools? Herbalism kit. Where am I at? I'm lost. Here. Herbalism kit. And then languages, what? One of my choice? Wow, how about that? One of my choice. Amazing. One of your choice. Let's spin up the silver quill real quick. Grab those bits. Two of your choice. Wow. And no tools. Skills are Intimidate and Persuasion. And do we have Quandrix already? Sounds point to yes. So now it's just you two. Quandrix and Silverquill. Sit in a tree. Let's find out. Let's see. Silverquill. Let's flesh out Silverquill's 5th rank. Mind Sense might not be a bad thing for Silverquill. 2nd rank? 3rd rank. Strange Metabolism, Opportunist, Giant, Kicker, Cost for Deadly Presence, Castigation. Ooh, you always know which direction. Auto Attunement, Trap Sprinter, Rogue Stance, Range Skirmisher, Power Shield, Omnilinguist, Lycanthropy, Instance. Omnilinguist honestly kind of makes sense for Silverquill too. Oh, I have it already. Great. Instant Skill, Extended Reach, Empowered Ability, Dire Impact, Crouching Stance, Close Quarter, Cliff Runner, Blind Sense, Aquatic Anatomy, Adaptive Resistance. Adaptive Resistance sounds kind of Quandrix to me. Good. Silverquill, huh? Provoking Strike makes sense. That's a very Silverquill thing to do. And I have it already. God damn it. Intimidating Strike. Intimidating Strike is also a really good one. Get out of here. Let's go with I want them both. Yeah, I want them both. So intimidating strike is when you hit somebody, your damage increases by amount of mana, and they're frightened until they lose line of sight or you're incapacitated, and they can attempt to save each turn. I like that. I think that's really good. Tripping strike, blinding strike, thundering strike, sweeping strike, shocking strike, restraining strike, silent strike, martial strike, grappling strike, goading strike, freezing strike, flaming strike. Distracting strike isn't a bad one for Silver Quill. Distracting strike is a 1. We'll take it. Strike. I see text. Hold on. What's the question? Why do you want to leave the DM's Guild? It takes too much of a cut from your profits. Basically, if I put something on a DM's Guild, if I'm going to build a micro niche product like the Book of Dimir, for instance, I can put it out on my Patreon as a free download, requesting people to become members of my Patreon for like $1, $2, $3, whatever a month. Versus a book like that would be, I want to value it like around $7, but it would realistically only sell for $5. I'd only get $2.50 per copy sold, and it would probably sell about 100 over the course of a year. So that would be about $250 that I would get for putting in a shitload of work. So yeah, it's, even if DM didn't take any cut of it, it's because it's too specific of a niche for it to be readily recognized. If I instead put it on my Patreon page, then that becomes a location for people with similar aesthetics or appreciating similar stuff would naturally gravitate towards my Patreon. Plus, if I have people on board my Patreon and they're willing to spend, like, say, a dollar a month, and they're willing to stick around for a couple years, then I'll end up getting 10 patrons at $1 each over the course of 2 years. Would be the same amount of money that I would get for that Book of Dimir, right? But it would be encouraging, like, going that way. It's actually marketing into myself. So the problem with DM's Guild is that it doesn't provide you any external, like, any support to publish your books unless they happen to like the specific product that you're putting out and they tweet it. So, and you kind of have to build a relationship with the brand managers to be able to do that. Most people can't. So, yeah, I guess you could say it's a cut. It's just the DM's Guild isn't the major Nexus hub, and if I start building things outside of the DM's Guild, then I can take other ideas that aren't 5th edition ideas and build those out, and then link them to my stuff through the Patreon page. So my goal was always to be able to create Kickstarters, but I need to have enough of an audience to be able to succeed in Kickstarters, so I make my books online and I illustrate and do these things. And then on the DM's Guild, since I don't technically own those books anyway, I can't really build legacy with them. So, but what I can do is make them 100% free for people to view, so that when people want to consider the quality of work that I produce on my Kickstarter, they can see all of the work I've already done that I'm offering people to look at for free as a sign of good fortune, customer service, and to be able to easily demonstrate this is the level of quality that I can produce. If you want to back me, you'll watch me do the entire process of building all these other, just like all these other books, you can watch me build the book that instead you've invested into. So it's like a really long tail marketing plan for me to be able to get people to trust and be on board with the stuff that I build. And as my audience continues to grow and people are entertained and take interest in us building books here, there is a real sense of investment that playtesters will have access to all the playtest content as we build out our new systems, and they'll be able to watch it being built here, knowing that they helped invest in making what I'm currently building theirs, so they can interact like you do, be part of the Discord community, and help elevate the project as a whole. That's the idea anyway. A lot of stuff, non 5e stuff, like the asteroid belt thing that I've been doing, the ability check system. That's a D20 adjacent role playing game that stands on its own and can be used with any other game that rolls a D20. So that's probably going to be my first Kickstarter project. There's also the Mass Combat book for 5e type games, the Guilds and Kingdoms for 5e type games. Those don't have to be D&D specific, but once I publish those on my own, I can sell them through my Patreon, and I can offer free stuff like converting the Simic, like the Simic Guild of Ravnica into my Guilds and Kingdoms system, so you can have a sprawling Simic worldwide organization that you can break down to the single zip code level if you wanted to. So that's the universality that system provides. You're distracting me. I have goals. I have goals here. Give me I get about, I'm on my last 20-minute leg now. So we only have a few more powers to fill in. Let's see. Oh yeah, Quandrix only needs one more. So let's go ahead and snatch that up and get it done with. Let's see. What's a cool Quandrix type? Hexproof could be good. Quandrix material. But it's too high of a level. Fate Spinner makes a ton of sense for Quandrix. I bet it has it already. Yeah, Fate Spinner. Redirect's not bad for Quandrix. Redirect is pretty good for Quandrix. And I have it already. Roll the hit, saving grace, moving target, defense barrier. Yeah, defense barrier is not a bad one. What level is that? Second rank? Okay. Defense barrier. As a reaction to a source you can see targeting you with an attack, you create a momentary opaque barrier, granting you full cover against the attack, causing it to automatically miss unless it ignores full cover. The barrier disappears after the attack. It'll cost you 2 mana to do that, but basically it's as a reaction you miss. That's a pretty good Quandrix thing to do. And now Quandrix is done. Sweet. So the only thing that we have left on our plate for the moment is a couple Silver Quill powers. I need 2 for second. So let's go to the strikes. I think there's more strikes we can use here. It's fascinating that Silver Quill is the one that's getting loaded up on strike features. I think that's great. Bait and switch, anticipate, kicker. Thank you. Double strike, curse of the cloud. Ooh, curse of the clouded mind. No. Cursed brand. You curse a creature you can see to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. Oh, cursed brand. That's a good one for Silver Quill. And that, nice, second rank, and it's a reaction. No, that's a maneuver, right? Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, Cursed Brand. You curse a creature you can see to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. The effect ends when the creature succeeds a saving throw against you. And now I'm looking for another second and then a high rank. Rally's not bad. Goad is pretty good. Goad is really good. Let's use that. Goad, that is maneuver 1. Curse Brand, provoking strike, curse of exposure, wave of terror. Provoking strike, intimidating strike, and provoking strike. Lots of strikes, man. Let's see what else. They're thespians, that's for sure. Their big thing is manipulating emotions and being being diplomats. So all the stuff that we're giving them are things that control, like distracting strike. Your target is, everyone has advantage against your target. Omnilinguist, you can talk to anybody. Which is useful for like goading and stuff. Goad, you can, as a maneuver, instead of attacking them as like a bonus action, you can make it so you're the only person that they'll attack, and they have to make a saving throw, otherwise they're at disadvantage against everyone else. So that's more like distracting, insulting stuff. Cursed Brand, you make them weak against you specifically, so you're like downtrodden them. Intimidating Strike, they become afraid of you. Provoking Strike, you piss them off so much that you are literally the only person they can attack. Beguiling Trance basically hypnotizes somebody while you keep your attention on them. Curse of Exposure causes them to lose their invulnerability or resistance. And Wave of Terror scares everyone around you. So they have a lot of like emotional control. They're like real emotional manipulators. They're white-black energy. So it's like Orzhov, but instead of like controlling your soul, they're attempting to control your reactions and your emotions in a situation. So let's see, is there something else? Resilient save when you make a saving throw to reduce damage. And that's different from Saving Grace. That's right, Saving Grace replies die rolls. Restraining Hold, Precise Attack, Empowered Synergy, Swift Attunement, Subtle Channeling, Overrun, Cooperative Effort, Charge, Breath of Life, Abundant Step. I ran out of stuff. Rally, honestly, is the only other one that makes sense because that's like the positive side of stuff that they can do. So Rally is a first rank maneuver. So we can fit it there. We can move. Here. There. There you go. Okay, cool. That'll work. It works for now. Until we come up with something better. Distracting Strike, Omnilinguist, Goad, Rally, Intimidating Strike, Provoking Strike, Beguiling Trance, Cursed Brand. This should come first. Curse of Exposure, Wave of Terror. Lots of curses coming out of Silverquill and Witherbloom. Black energy there. Gotta love it. Hey, we did it. We did it. We completed all the things. Nice. Okay, so Silverquill is complete now. These are now options. Yeah, choose language. Yeah, these are now options that players that we can choose in the playtest. So whether you chose Ravnica or Strixhaven, both would be acceptable. I'm pretty pumped. I'm excited about Monday. Honestly, I'm looking forward to our next game. God, it's gonna be fun. All right, cool. So that is all taken care of. I've got a few minutes. Let me put everything back together here. I don't need this anymore. We can jump back up here. All right, so now let's look at the revised list of exploits. So Abundant Step. After Kitty Loaf's suggestions, For 1 mana, which can be reduced down to free, it's you can channel the exploit as part of a move action. You gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your turn. If you do not end your turn on a surface or liquid that can support you, you fall as normal. Kicker 1, double. If you spend 1 additional mana, you can double your flight speed for that turn. Spend 3 more mana, you can triple your speed. Spend 5 more mana, you can quadruple your speed. So these are just going to be extra distances when you need to squeeze that extra distance out, and you can afford to do so. Otherwise, it's just that 1 mana cost to have flight for the round, and if you use efficient power and drop it to 0, you basically just have feather stepping for the until you decide not to use it effectively. Breath of Life. When you make an ability check to stabilize a dying creature, you automatically succeed, and you restore a number of hit points equal to the result of 1 power die. That only costs 1 mana. You could make it free with efficient power if you wanted to. The hit points only work while you're stabilizing the victim. Once they're above 0 hit points, you can't use this to give them more hit points anymore, so it's not healing efficiency. Charge, when you take the dash action. So now you have to actually dash to use this, and the first attack, when you take the dash action, the first attack you make before your next turn is rolled with advantage. So this would basically require you to use a bonus action or an additional action somewhere. You could, well, I mean, you have your normal movement, and then you have your action, which could be used for dash, a bonus action, which many characters can use for dash. But dashing basically just gives you extra movement. So when you're getting that extra squeeze of movement, if you move at least 10 feet, the first attack you make is advantage, and you can roll 1 power die. You can roll multiple power die. The highest die result of your power dice is added to your attack roll. So this is going to require you to use one of your pieces of action economy to activate, and then it also requires an attack for you to use. So I'm fine with this becoming something you could do for free if you learn it twice. Otherwise, I mean, it only costs 1 mana, but if you learn it twice, you can do this for free all the time. So you just have to make sure you're taking your action economy for that dash action to be able to get in distance to make your attack. But the attack will be with advantage and with a bonus to the attack roll, so it's almost guaranteed to hit. Cooperative effort, 1 mana when you're using the help action. So now this is limited. Cooperative effort is limited by using the help action, and when you do, when you use the help action to grant somebody advances on an ability or an attack roll, they can now also roll 1 power die per mana channeled, which you could make for free but still add the roll, but it's a power that you learned, and this is just what the help action normally does. But when you do it, you're going to be able to add a power die, basically a bardic die inspiration to their die roll. So, and you could learn this twice to make it free, and you could tack that on to somebody every turn if you wanted to, but you're specifically using the help action to do so. So it limits your use of it. Overrun, this is another one that now relies on the dash action. While taking the dash action, you can move through squares that are occupied by creatures, and whenever you move through a creature, it deals a power die of damage. So, and if you spend an extra point of mana, you won't provoke attack of opportunity for doing it. Subtle channeling. When you channel this power, there's no visual evidence of that you are the source of power, because there's always some sort of visual color effect that you're triggering a power whenever you channel mana, and the target of your power, if you're targeting somebody other than yourself, always knows that you are the target. Or that it's coming from you. So, they always know they're being affected by power when they feel it. It's just then they can try to spot who's flaring magic around me. You're the culprit. Subtle channeling removes the visual evidence that you are the source. So you can feel that you're being affected by magic and announce that, but you won't know who's doing it. And this being made for free, you got to learn it twice, and then you can just all of your spells are always hidden. Super great assassin, spy sort of thing. Swift tools, if using a tool that you can hold in one hand, would normally require an action or a bonus action, or if you're consuming a potion, you can do so as an object interaction instead. So this is already highly circumstantial, It's already taking action economy required. Now it's just making it better action economy. So that's how we resolved the exploits that remained exploits. That's how we resolved those. Let's see. Let's go to the maneuvers, because now actually none of these survived. None of these went to maneuvers. Reactions. There you go. Anticipates. Bait and switch. This was an exploit. It's now a reaction. You have far less reactions, even though it is considered an opportunity attack. For the most part, people will have less reactions, and this is now dependent on your allies being near you, not you being near your allies. Although you can use one reaction during your turn, so you could walk up to somebody and then use your own reaction to switch places with them. You spend a point of mana, you swap places with them, and after doing so, it doesn't this movement doesn't provoke opportunity attack. And when you do this switch, you gain 1 power die of mana. Roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, which was 1, and you or your ally can increase their armor class. So you can go, you can use 1 reaction per turn, including your own, and it's considered an opportunity attack. So if somebody would be provoking an attack, would be making an attack, and would be provoking an opportunity attack from you, you could use bait and switch instead. So. Which means that you can use, like in the the marking system is when you mark a target, you can use an opportunity attack against them. But instead, you can mark your allies and then use bait and switch with them as opportunity attacks. And if you have multiple opportunity attacks from one of the powers in here, or a class feature, then you have a menu of reactions that you can choose from every round, even though you're limited to 1 per turn. So this is the way that we solved that, because reactions are so much more limited. Spending a bonus action to do bait and switch once per round was too expensive. Making it just triggered off of any movement was not expensive. Was too cheap. So making it a reaction instead, you can still trigger it once during your own turn, and then anytime a friend comes by, you can bait and switch with them and then boost yourself or their armor class as well. That's a really great use of reactions. So I'm really happy with that one. And was there any other ones? I think that was it. Yeah, bait and switch. There you go. That's the revisions that we made to exploits. And now I think they work pretty well. They're far more balanced. They add in some more diversity of how you're using your action economy. They're giving you more reasons, like a rogue using dash. And then overrun with dash while you're running away from enemies. You can be catching them on fire, or freezing them, or whatever. It's cool. So, but that's where the powers are at right now, and that's pretty much my time. So I'm going to bounce out of here for the day. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock Seattle time, noon Eastern time in America, and we're probably going to be working on the diplomacy dungeon ideas some more. And we'll find out what kind of mess we get into. We'll just do some stuff. So that's it for now. Rel and everyone else, thanks a lot for hanging out. Like, subscribe, bell icons. Catch me on my Patreon. Let me know what you're thinking. Would love to have you play test with this stuff if you think it's interesting. We're looking to add some numbers to our tables so that we can guarantee we have at least 3 people show up every time. 4 or 5 is acceptable. So I just want to see you guys sling mana, beat things up, run around, have fun. Anyway. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.